Hi, Nathan here from Harrison Audio, and today we're taking a look at the Harrison AVA Lookahead Compressor. The Harrison AVA Lookahead Compressor is a powerful yet user-friendly dynamics processor that incorporates a lookahead function. This feature enables immediate compression as soon as the audio signal is detected, making it perfect for taming the dynamics of the sound sources with broad dynamic range, such as acoustic guitars, vocals, and drums. The AVA Lookahead Compressor offers capabilities beyond those of your average compressor. Its zero history release time allows for aggressive use of highly dynamic sound sources while still preserving a transparent release character, delivering professional sounding mix results. So let's take a look at the AVA Lookahead Compressor controls and hear it in action. But before we do this, we'll need to install the plugin available from either the Harrison website or via the SSL download manager. Okay, so I have the Lookahead compressor here loaded up in Mixbus 10. On the left, we have the input level meter with the adjustable threshold slider attached. Down here, we have the ratio control, which sets the amount of gain reduction applied to the signal once it's past the threshold. Here we have the knee control that adjusts the smoothness of the compressor ratio angle. Here we have the makeup gain control boosting the signal once compression has been applied. And right next to this, we have the output level meter. And finally, in the center of the plugin, we have a VU style gain reduction meter so we can see how much compression is being applied to our signal. So let's hear the AVA Lookahead compressor in action, starting with some acoustic guitar. Here we have an acoustic guitar performance with a lot of transients and dynamic range. So let's hear the guitar with the plugin bypassed. So first off, let's engage the plugin and let's raise the threshold all the way up. Return the knee and the ratio back to default just by double clicking. And then let's slowly bring down the threshold to see what kind of sound we can get. Okay, so I think for this part, I'm not going to go more than -6 dB of gain reduction, but we do have a softer section here in the performance. So let's check that out. Yeah, I think the threshold is a good setting because there's a balance between the really loud section of the verse and then the softer section of the chorus. Now what we can do is actually raise the output gain to make it for the difference in volume. Let's actually hear this chorus section with the plugin bypassed, then with the plugin engaged. So the first thing I noticed about the plugin is there's not a lot of pumping or artifacts. It's just a very smooth compression that really grabs the transients and helps to tame the dynamics. Now let's hear how the AVA Lookahead compressor sounds on drums. Okay, so I've added the Lookahead compressor to a drum bus here in Mixbus 10. And what we have is some kick drum, snare, overheads, hi-hat, toms, knee mic, and a room mic. And I could choose to individually compress the room mics, for instance, but I kind of like how this sounds on the full kit. So here's what we have so far with the plug-in bypassed. Okay, so we just have a nice full sounding kit. Now, when we add in the plug-in, you're going to notice a few things about the transients of this plug-in. So let's turn on the plug-in now. Okay, bypassed. And on. And bypassed again. So what's cool about what's happening here is it's actually taking the kick and the snare and it's reducing those transients so much that it's kind of tucking them in to the overall mix of the drums, which is really a great way to tame the drum sound without squashing the whole thing. So let's mess around with some more parameters here and see what other settings we can find. So setting the ratio and the knee back to default. Here's the threshold all the way up, and let's just slowly bring it back down. Now, there's a very interesting sound because you don't hear any pumping or artifacts in the actual compression. It's just all very smooth, but you are reducing the volume of the kit as you bring down that threshold. So let's find a good setting, then bring the makeup gain back up to compensate. Now, at first listen, that might sound overly dramatic, but actually, this might work really well in a parallel compression type of scenario. So now I've added the same plugin with the same settings on a different bus, and this is going to be our parallel compression bus, which I call the NYC compressor because it's a very popular New York style compression method that they've used over the decades. So this is the same thing. Let's bypass that bus, then listen to the drums just by itself. Then let's add in the NYC compressor. So there it is with it down. So what you're getting with this kind of technique is adding excitement and energy to a drum part without having to add the plugin directly onto the tracks themselves. So even though the sound of the compressor is overly aggressive, it works really well in this parallel compression context. We've had some feedback from our Mixbus community saying that the Lookahead compressor actually sounds great on bass guitar. So let's have a listen to how that sounds. So here's a bass part that was performed on a 5-string bass and also with a pick, just to have that added attack to the strings. But you can see that the verse and the chorus have a different style of performance. So once again, let's go to our default setting on the threshold and the ratio and the knee. And let's hear the bass with the plug-in bypassed. Okay, and here's a little bit of the chorus. Okay, so we have those long sustaining notes in the chorus section. So let's just pull down the threshold and hear how the plugin can affect the two different types of performances. Let's stay with the threshold about that setting and then go to the chorus. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually bring up the makeup gain to offset the gain reduction, and we can get a little bit more sustain out of those long notes in the chorus. So what I'm hearing there is the attack of the note is now roughly the same volume as our sustained portion of the note, and it just helps us smooth out the whole performance. Now we can get way more aggressive with this like we did on the drums. So let's hear how that sounds. Wow, so that's really doing a great job of just grabbing the transients, is keeping everything in a nice, even spot dynamically within the performance. So now let's hear the difference between the plugin off and the plugin on. Let's do the same thing with the chorus. So as you can hear, the AVA Lookahead Compressor is an incredibly useful tool for taming highly dynamic sound sources. It's ideal for scenarios where a regular compressor just can't react fast enough. I also really like the simplicity of this plugin, making it easy to achieve great sounding mixes quickly. It also sounds really transparent, not overly coloring the sound of the guitar or drums. You can check out the full range of plugins, including the Lookahead Compressor, via the link in the description. And don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, I'm Nathan from Harrison Audio, and I'll see you in the next video.